Cześć! Dzisiejszy odcinek będzie po angielsku, także jeśli nie macie automatycznie wyświetlonych napisów, to proszę włączcie je sobie na dole. I don't need to introduce my today's guest because he already has been here. His name is Chris and he is from Fancy Goldfish Fanatics. Hi Chris, what's up? Please shortly introduce yourself and remind us about your setups and fish.
Hey everybody, so I'm Chris from Fancy Goldfish Fanatics. As you can see right here, I keep, obviously as you can see, an Asian arowana and out of shot 2 stingrays and some other fish in my monster tank. I also keep some Ryukins, and outside I've got some Japanese top view rancher as well. Thank you for having me on the channel, Joanna. I'm really happy to be here and hopefully get some good answers out of the questions that you asked me, and hopefully your viewers will like them and maybe they will head over to my channel. I'm sure Joanna will put that maybe in the link down below or up here somewhere. So thank you for that, Joanna.
Yes, link is down below. Let's start. So first question, what got you into fish keeping?
Yeah, so when I was 14 years old, that's when I first got into fish keeping. My dad had originally kept koi and he had a big 9,500 to 10,000 litre pond in the garden. And unfortunately, the builders, when they were building the extension all those years ago, had fed the koi bread and like their leftover bits of sandwiches in the winter. So the fish ate them and then it just rotted inside them and it wiped out all the koi, and he just gave up and let the pond just turn green really. So it was just an empty pond with some green water in and a few massive lilies. He then put some goldfish into that and they kept spawning every year for many years, and there ended up being like 200 goldfish, just common goldfish in there. And I really wanted to get some koi and start the pond project again and get it all back up and running. So what I did, I emptied the pond, cleared the pond out. I think if you go onto my channel and you look all the way back at the first video, you can see me at 14 years old in my Crocs, emptying out the old pond and then filling it all back up. I bought a filter system on eBay. It was like £100 or something. And I remember going to collect it from the lady, and the lady thought my dad was buying it. And she kept saying, oh, your dad knows all about it. Does he know about this and that? And I was trying to tell her that, no, this is for me, for my pond. I'm paying for this myself. So that was quite funny. And then we got some pumps and some bits of piping and stuff like that. And then I bought, I think, 4 sort of maybe 4 or 5 inch koi from a random person on Gumtree on it's like eBay in the UK. So I did that, and then I bought some more fish off Gumtree from someone else, and then inevitably my fish got parasites, and then that's how I really started to develop fish keeping, or my passion for fish keeping, and really started to look into it and started to do lots of research and expand and get better and better and better.
And how about goldfish? When did you get them?
Yeah, so I got into goldfish mainly through the koi hobby. So what happened was, after that first pond that I spoke about, when I was 16/17, I actually built my own koi pond, and you hopefully can see it right here on the screen now. So I actually built that completely from scratch. A few of my friends helped dig out that pond when we were 16, 17, and then I bought all the blocks myself. I bought everything myself, and we fiberglassed it and built that koi pond. And then after about 3 years, I headed off to university. 2 or 3 years, I headed off to university. I kept the koi throughout the entire first year. Every week I would come home at the weekend just so I could clean the koi pond, make sure my fish were okay. But it ended costing so much on the train. And over the summer of the second year, I thought, I can't be doing this every day. And I unfortunately made the decision to sell all of my koi, and I actually didn't have any fish at that time. But within, I'd say, a month, if not 2 months, I wanted fish again, and that is how I got into the goldfish. I wanted to keep a fish that was brightly coloured like the koi, had their own sort of personalities as well. And the goldfish just, I guess, organically came in. I saw some, I think, online, and I thought they were really cute and really cool. You could get different varieties. There is also the quality aspect, similar with koi. You can get the low sort of garden centre koi all the way up to show grade, and it was the same for fancy goldfish. You could groom them and grow them and develop them. So it's kind of organically progressed into that sort of goldfish hobby, I suppose I could say. And obviously they were so much smaller, so it meant I could keep them in a small pond, which was far easier to keep clean, and it was just so much easier. They only really clean the filter once every 4 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, and then just a small water change, 50% once every week or 2 weeks. So it was far easier, and that is really how I started. And I started with 5 Ranchu, and they were from Westview Goldfish. I think that was about 4 years ago, I believe.
So I assume your first setup was a pond.
So yeah, going back to the first setup was actually that 10,000 litre pond. So I know most people start their fish journey with a small nano tank or a tiny tank, but at 14 years old, I went straight into the deep end, literally as I was cleaning that pond that was just above my head because I was so small at that age. And yeah, it was a 10,000 litre pond. I don't think I've got any pictures of it, but if I have, then hopefully Joanna will be able to put them on the screen, so I'll try and look for some. And yeah, I was, as I said, 14 years old, and it was a 10,000 litre koi pond with lots of small koi, really, and that's how it all started.
Thanks, you seem to have a lot of experience with fish by now, so is there anything you would do differently now?
Well, there's probably quite a lot of things, and the answer I'm going to give probably isn't something that you would think of really, or it will come straight to mind. But I would say one thing I would do properly, and most people don't, is buy really good quality fish. Generally, what I see happening quite often is people will come straight into the hobby, they will buy maybe 5 or 10 fish because they want that instant wow factor, they want those fish straight away, so they get some sort of cheaper fish. As they get into the hobby, they start to realise the quality, and then they're so attached to those fish, but on one hand they want to get the new fish that are higher quality. So I maybe wouldn't get super high quality fish, because obviously with all hobbies you generally start with sort of lower cost, lower quality things like cars or fish, etc., and you progress your way up. But I would really, if I could start again, I would invest slightly more into some better fish, maybe small fish with future potential. Doesn't have to be a lot of money, even some small fish that were like 20 or 30 pounds each, rather than buying some like £5, £10 goldfish instead, just so I could appreciate them a bit more and sort of get a bit more attached to them. But I suppose that is, I don't know how to describe it, but that is just not the pet keeper in me, that is more of the fish keeper, the living jewels keeper in me, so to say. I know the fish are pets, they are animals, and they aren't collectibles, but I guess that kind of mindset of the collection would say, I guess my mindset now would tell me to invest or buy some slightly better quality fish just to begin with, because as with all things, you want to get better and better, basically. So that is probably what I would do if I could start again.
Thanks, that was really interesting. So we have good quality fish, and what about dream setup for them? Do you have any?
So for years, for many years, this right here would be my dream setup. Having my own place with my own tanks, I could do what I want when I want. I can make as much mess as I want, and no one is going to tell me what to do, because there is no one in charge. I am in charge of everything. And the monster tank was my dream setup for quite a long time, along with having a goldfish pond with a viewing window, just like you can see here. However, I think in future, looking forward, maybe my dream setup would probably be a monster tank, so bigger than this one. If I had all the money and all the space, I'd probably have a huge tank, maybe like, I don't know, like 5 or 10,000 litre tank with lots of big monster fish, lots of stingrays, catfish, Asian arowana, etc. And that would probably be my dream setup. And also similar to Joanna's video that she did on my channel. If you want to see that, check it out on my channel. But similar to Joanna, I'd like a really big fancy goldfish tank, nice and shallow, so you can look down from the top. Probably built into the wall, so maybe 8 foot long, and it would have a big sump underneath with easy water change system, so I could have some pipes underneath the tank where I could drain water straight into those pipes, which would go out to a drain, and then a filter system that would purify the water before going back into the tank. But yeah, probably something around 45 centimetres to 50 centimetres deep, and then 8 foot long, 2.5 meters long, and then probably like 80 centimeters wide, 2.5 foot wide, something like that. That would probably be my dream goldfish setup as well.
It looks like we have very similar dream setups, so let's see who will get it first. Now we are on my favorite question. What is the silliest or most random advice somebody had told you about fish keeping that wasn't true?
Okay, so the silliest or worst piece of advice I ever got was when I first started up the Facebook group, so my Fancy Goldfish Fanatics Facebook group, this person told me that to kill white spot or to get rid of the white spot parasite, all I needed to do, it was super easy, all I needed to do was turn the lights out for 3 days. Yeah. So someone told me I can kill a parasite that doesn't rely on any light or photo period, that it would just die within 3 days. And to be honest, if it was that easy, I don't think there would be any white spot medications on the market because everyone would just turn their lights off or black out their tanks. So yeah, that was really funny, and I asked them, could you explain how you found this out? And their response was, try it yourself. So they had no method to back it up, they had no information to back up their claims, and then they decided to have a go at me. So yeah, that was quite interesting and probably the funniest piece of advice I've ever been told.
I wish it was this easy. And what was the coolest thing you did as a fish keeper?
I would say the coolest thing I ever did fish keeping was actually go to Japan, and I actually went there for 9 days, and that was on a koi buying trip. So we went to Niigata in Japan, and we travelled all around the mountains every day. It was a fish keeper's dream, basically. So we'd get up around 8:30 in the morning, we'd have a Japanese breakfast, and then by like 9:30 we'd be in that car driving around the mountains. I think we probably visited around 5 to 10 breeders every single day for 8 days, I think it was, 7 or 8 days. So we visited so many breeders. I think it was between 40 and 50 breeders in the end, just looking at their setups, bowling up fish, taking photographs of fish, and it was just absolutely amazing. The snow by the sides of the road was like 6 foot high in some places, and you were driving along and you couldn't see above the snow in the car. It was crazy, and the picturesque mountains were absolutely incredible, and it was just a great experience overall, and that was probably the craziest thing I ever did. And yeah, the flight was like, I can't remember, it was like 10 or 12 hours to get there, and it was the jet lag was so bad and the travelling was so much, but I absolutely enjoyed it, and it was an absolutely amazing experience. And funny enough, when I was going there, that's when I was starting up my Ranchu tank, so I was looking at some goldfish in Japan, and they had some Tamasaba that I saw, and they also had some Ranchu as well, but unfortunately I couldn't import them at the time because I wasn't ready. But it was really cool to see some Japanese goldfish from the Japanese breeders themselves. So I would say that's the coolest thing I've ever done for fish keeping, but I have probably many, many more cool stories about my fish keeping journey. And maybe you will one day find them out back on my channel. So yeah, that's probably the coolest story, I would say.
Wow, that is amazing, and I'm really, really jealous. So can you please tell us now about your future fish keeping plans?
Well, I've literally just set up that Ryukin tank, so I would really like to get some more Ryukin, probably some calico or some metallic Ryukin, and then maybe breed those potentially in middle of this year, potentially, or next year. I've also got the Japanese top view Ranchu as well, so I'm hoping to add to the collection throughout this year as well, and maybe breed those next year because they're a little bit young at the moment. So I've got one line, I've got 6 fish from one specific line of Japanese top view Ranchu, and I would like to add to that collection from a few different lines. So going forward, probably over the next 12 months, I want to add some more Japanese top view Ranchu, and I also want to add some more Ryukin. And I think that's probably the next step I'm going to be in the future of the plans. I was thinking about building a big fish head, fish house in the garden, but I think I'm going to hold off on that for the moment and just plan on adding some more goldfish to my collection and making sure they're kept healthy and enjoying life, basically.
Oh, I also love Ranchos and Ryukins the most. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Joanna, Captain Chocolate Cake, for having me on the channel. I hope this video hasn't been too boring, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it who are watching. Thank you for all the effort you put in, Captain Chocolate Cake, to this video, and I really appreciate you having me on the channel. It has been an absolute pleasure, and I hope to be back on it very soon. As I mentioned, if you want to check out my videos, I'm sure Joanna will put my link down below to my channel. I've also got an Instagram page, but mainly I post on the YouTube, so that would probably be the best place to go. As always, thank you for having me on the channel. Thank you, Joanna. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure you will wrap up the video.
Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to check links down below. In my next episode I will be doing something really cool, which will be testing Diode Pro water testing device. So please stay tuned, and if you haven't already, please subscribe, and see you very soon.